Before the review starts, this is my first long form scripted review as I'm trying to improve my content for you guys. If you like this format, let me know down in the comments. So this is my Icarus Beta 6 review. I'm going to be covering every mission in the order I completed them. Once I've covered them, I will give you my final thoughts. As always, I'm approaching this from a solo player's perspective. I completed all the missions solo, apart from the exploration, as that had no clear objective. With a few caveats, I wasn't allowed to use the rifle at all during this beta, not that it was really needed. The first mission in beta week 6 was the introduction. Basically, get to level 5 and you can go back to the space station, as some of the other missions didn't unlock until level 5s and 10. I actually stayed on the first mission until level 12 just because I could, and it was pointless to race back up to the station at level 5. In the first real mission called Scan, you landed back down in your drop pod into a familiar location, the L12 grid reference. This mission was probably the easiest of all the missions, as all you had to do was put down 3 radars which you could collect from a crate and place at one of 3 different locations which were shown on the map. There was only one fight that took place during this mission, and that was being attacked by a bear at one of the radar locations. And at the second site, depending on what order you placed the radars in, you had to hide from a flash lightning storm. So the second mission was the Predator extermination mission. I actually let my live stream chat pick the mission this time, which is always an outstanding decision. Shout out to Psychotic Cherry for this. You are one sinister person. This actually turned out to be my most favorite mission out of them all. As a solo player, adventuring around looking for 2 marked locations, which no one at the time had any clue about or what they look like. Finding the first one literally nearly broke me mentally. After locating the first one, the second one was pretty easy to find. K13 west side of the base of the mountain, it was literally just a pile of animal bones. So once you found the second marked location, the third is revealed. You could only go to the third marked location at night or 6 PM sleep time in game. I built up a new base at the second marked location just as a backup, just in case anything went wrong. So 6 PM hit and off I ran to the third marked location on the map named The Den. I got to the Den location at night, so it was pitch black and I couldn't see anything. I got attacked by the black wolf named Shakur, which I couldn't see at all apart from its eyes. So I started fighting this black wolf when it was pitch black, and then I got yeeted from the side by a bear from nowhere, and I got killed. Now knowing what to expect, I read the mission text again and realized I could attack the den during the day after locating the den at night. So I went back, got my loot, then crafted an iron spear along with a second longbow, and headed back over to the den, and placed a few campfires down to see if I could set the bosses on fire and its 2 companions. This didn't work as well as I expected, so there were 2 Shakur the Sleepers and 1 Canis the Victor bosses. I engaged the Shakurs first, then it looked like they got bugged somehow on their den. So I just started going crazy on the Canis the Victor, hoping I could get it down with the bow and iron spear before a bear either jumped me or the bosses unbugged. After nearly breaking 2 longbows and an iron spear, along with only having 5 fish left, I got the wolf down. I was starting to worry as it was starting to regen its HP if I didn't keep the DPS on it. After the traumatic experience of the previous mission, I decided to pick the next mission myself as I couldn't trust my chat again with picking them. I decided to go with recovery mission, which was a nice surprise as it actually dropped you in the desert. Like for anyone else, this was the first time being dropped into the desert. I've come to realize that the desert is my favorite biome, until we get the swamp of course. So the mission was to retrieve 3 pieces of equipment from 3 crashed drones across the northeastern desert biome. Which sounds cool, right? It was only cool if you had mastered the craft of Fortnite speed building. So I headed off to the first crash location, which I could see from my base. When I got to the first location, I soon realized that I have to build up pretty high to get the first drone, as it was on top of a rock. So with all my best Fortnite building skills at hand, I built a big beautiful ladder. Once I finally got to the top and accessed the crash drone, I went to climb back onto my ladder. In all my wisdom, I missed the ladder completely and fell to my death. Getting the second crash drone was easy, as this one's actually on the ground. Once I retrieved that, I headed south to the third location, me thinking this appears to be super easy. Nope, apparently I had to harness my inner Fortnite skills again to build up to the final crash drone, which was on the side of a mountain. So I laddered myself up the side of the mountain to retrieve the final piece of equipment. Once you got all three pieces of equipment, you had to combine them to see if the receiver would work. That was it. You could just go back to the station. Not much to really say about the research mission. You had to go to 3 different locations, 2 being in the forest biome and the last being in the southern Arctic biome. In the first location, it was an exotic plant, and the second location was a dead deer with its intestines all over the floor, as exotic somehow affected the animals. After seeing how easy the first 2 locations were, I headed off to the southern Arctic to the last location. At this point, I didn't realize mammoths or snow leopards were now in the Arctic as just wild animals. I know that mammoths were in the northern Arctic as bosses, but not in the south. So I arrived at the location in the southern Arctic and placed down a 2x2 just in case. Better to be safe than sorry. I ended up aggressing a very angry polar bear, which actually started ripping through holes in my stone walls. Then the snow leopards decided to join the fun. After downing the polar bear, I headed down into the hole in the floor to retrieve the final and third item, which was another plant. After getting all 3 items, I just ran back to the drop pod as I didn't want to be hanging around in the Arctic, and it was mission complete. So the surveying mission was probably one of the easiest missions other than the scan mission. You basically went to one location marked on the map where the drop box was located, and you placed down a geostation at the target location. You repeated this 3 times, which created a large triangle over the lake with red lasers, which looked pretty cool to be honest. At the base of the lake, next to where you placed the 3 geostations, there was another drop box with a transmitter in it, which you had to place down that linked all the geostations up and started transmitting a signal to space. So once the transmitter was placed, it triggered a storm, and wolves started trying to attack the transmitter, which you had to defend. Apparently I had it easy, as some have told me that they had bears attacking them. How was the mission for you? Let me know down in the comments. After completing all the missions as a solo player, I actually felt like wanting more, so I was a bit sad the beta was ending, as I had so much fun and great moments throughout this beta 6 with you guys. If there was one thing I would have wanted more than anything in this beta, it would be getting access to the swamp, the northwest forest biome. The missions were really fun and not stupidly hard. Apart from the extermination, it would have been easier if I was to use the hunting rifle, which I opted not to use this beta. I did like how we had to build in the recovery mission to get the objectives. That was a nice touch, even though I did meme on it on stream a fair bit. While on the subject of the recovery mission, I really enjoyed being dropped into the desert to experience it more. It added a slightly harder starting experience. I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has tuned into my live streams throughout the beta weekend 6 and watched my videos. I've seriously had a great time and many have laughed with you guys. Thankfully, we don't have to wait that much longer until beta weekend 7, which is the final beta weekend before launch, which no doubt will be insane. Did you enjoy this video? Hit the like button and subscribe to see more of my videos and live streams.